Alright, hello, good morning web designers. Welcome to Chapter 1, Lesson 1 and 2. So let's get started here in Dreamweaver. I have it installed and opened up, and sometimes it asks you a couple of questions when it starts, but I've just opened something up to show you and get started with this chapter. First of all, I'm going to talk to you about xHTML. It's an acronym. It stands for Extensible Hypertext Markup Language. Markup language, well, what's that? Is it programming? No, it's not programming. It's not nearly that difficult. Let's take a look here in Dreamweaver at the code behind the scenes, and we can see all the code that's there. Now, this is all the stuff that's hidden behind the scenes. It says doc type. Well, this document type tells the server, hey, this is in English, and it's wrote in xHTML, and Dreamweaver automatically puts that in, so you don't have to worry about, oh, how do I put this doc type? That looks complicated. I don't even know what this means. Dreamweaver does it itself. Well, w3c.org, they make all of the standards, basically. It's kind of looser than that, but they're kind of a standardization corporation. Head. It's the opening and closing of the head. This is where your title is. So as far as if you were going to learn xHTML, you would learn the title tag, and you would learn the body tag, and this P tag, which is for paragraph, and then you have to close these, so you'd close your body tag. It's pretty simple, huh? There's about 10 tags that if you really want to learn this, I'll post some links to some tutorials if I remember. P for paragraph, B is for bold, and these tags are open. Type in some text. Now close them, and we'll go back to design view. And there it is. So in Dreamweaver you have code view, you have design view. It's markup language because it's not programming language. And there's only about 15 or so different tags. I would recommend that the first thing you do this week is get to know xHTML. You can take a couple tutorials, and in about 45 minutes you can learn xHTML. I've taught it to little kids, I've taught it to old people, I've taught it to people with no computer experience. And sometimes what I've had people do with learning disabilities, I've also taught them how to do xHTML, is sit down with a piece of paper. And if it's too difficult to do on a computer, sometimes they can think about it in a different way when they're working on paper. So take a paper and pencil, and you can write out your markup code. Markup is different from programming because markup tells a browser how to display something. Browser is all about appearance. Markup says make it look pretty, make it look blue and red and orange and big text and small text. Is telling it how to look. So whenever you work with markup language, it's telling something how it appears, how it looks, and then that is interpreted by a browser. A browser is the application that you surf the web with. I used to tell students, look for the big blue E on your desktop. Internet Explorer. Some people nowadays, they use Firefox, Safari, Google Chrome. There's lots of different browsers out there to surf the web with. And that browser looks at the xHTML, your Extensible Hypertext Markup Language, and it displays the web page. It's what happens if you make a major error? Well, you could probably just make up some bizarre thing and put in here. Let's see what happens. It doesn't change it. It is fine. That's because markup language is very, very forgiving. You can make all kinds of errors in here. In fact, a lot of times when I'm called in to fix web pages, I find pages and pages and pages of bad, error-ridden code. And that's because xHTML is very forgiving. So if you want to try it out, don't worry. It's not going to crash. It's not going to crash your computer, and it's not going to do anything haywire. It's just a simple markup language. Anyone can do it. You can do it. So I would advise you to learn it because it's going to make, when something goes wrong or something's not working right in Dreamweaver, you can take a look at the code, and it's usually very easy to fix if you can read the code and what it's doing. Alright, so my next thing that I want to get to in the short time that we have is, what is Dreamweaver? Dreamweaver is an xHTML editor. You can't open pictures with it. You can't read Word documents with it. You can't surf the web with it. All it does is edit code. It's a code editor. And invariably, every single semester, I have a student, sometimes I've had students crying, calling me up saying, I'm trying to open my picture with Dreamweaver and it won't open. I said, is that what Dreamweaver does? Does it open pictures? Yes, because I'm trying to put the picture in the page. Like, Dreamweaver doesn't open pictures. It can't read a picture. It can't read an image. What they're trying to do is link a picture on a page, but Dreamweaver can't open it because it only opens web pages. It only works with code. If you try to do anything else with it, it won't do it. All it likes to do in the whole world, all day long, every day, is look at your code. Very, very simple. It's just a markup code. And that's all Dreamweaver does. It color codes it, it shortcuts it, and it does it very, very well. Dreamweaver isn't entirely WYSIWYG. WYSIWYG stands for what you see is what you get. And in a way, you know, you can use all of these little handy tools. It does not do it for you. When I get called in and paid the big bucks to fix people's codes, it's because usually they have tried to use Dreamweaver completely visually without looking at the code. They'll get some squirrely weird code in here, something gets broken, and they don't know how to fix it. So just learn a little bit of code. That will help you immensely as this course goes along. Finally, something I wanted to show you. This is very important. The book goes through and it shows you the zoom tool, the hand tool, the select tool, all these little tools and the entire toolbar, and it's really overwhelming. As a developer and somebody who I work with a lot of different applications, the first thing that I want to know when I start any new application is, what do I really need to know? What am I going to use, and what is just a bunch of fluff thrown in by the programmers to have one extra feature? So I'm going to show you right now what you really need to know, what I want you to pay attention to, and what I try to do on tests and quizzes that I give is I really want to put in what you need to know and leave off stuff that you're never going to use in a real environment. So if you're on the job as a web designer, this is what you're going to use, this Files and Assets panel. You're going to use this over and over again for absolutely everything. This is your main panel over here. This will have your site, all of the files underneath it, and all your images that you have linked into your site. You'll drop this down and you're going to have multiple websites. The other thing that you're going to use a lot of is this Properties panel, because you're going to be inserting links. So I'll make a link real quick here and just show you. Really simple to do. And you're going to use this Properties panel, this Files, and then you're going to change up here between Code View, Split View, and Design View. And you're going to do that quite a bit. So those are the three things that I really want you to know today, is your Split, Code, and Design, your Properties panel, and this Files panel. Three very simple things, but focus on them, play with them, and get to know them.